before you say anything dumb, I want you to keep in mind, Georgia was favored by 15 and they won by 14? I'll take it. Tennessee, on the other hand, favored by 17 and a half, losing by 3 at halftime to Kentucky. I just saw breaking news from the Tennessee Athletic Department. They've announced a 10% reduction in ticket costs. It's like a no talent reverse fee to make up for the money they scammed out of the idiot Voltards earlier this year with the 10% increase for the so-called talent fee. But don't worry, Tennessee. Turns out Dubu was root. The birds with teeth are beating the Taters by 10. Holy, this is a home game for Clemson too? Wow. Unbelievable. South Carolina and Texas A&M, good game at halftime though. Did you hear Georgia won by 14 again today? Just another day in the park for the dogs. Another walk in the park. South Carolina, Texas A&M locked in a close one at halftime, 20 apiece. SMU up big over Pitt. So my pick for the ACC championship game, still alive. SMU versus Miami, my pick for the ACC title game. Unfortunately, my pick for the Big 12 title game took a nosedive today when Kansas State figured out a way to lose for no particular reason. They're basically eliminated now. That's their second loss. They have a loss to BYU too. Is Colorado going to play in the Big 12 title game? I'm seriously asking. Because Iowa State lost today too. So Iowa State has a loss. Colorado has a loss. Just one. Colorado's only got one conference loss. BYU, 0 conference losses. So BYU's probably in. They do play Iowa State, I think. Is it BYU that plays Iowa? No, I think it's Kansas State plays. Anyway, I don't think Colorado has to play any of them. They already played Kansas State and lost. Anyway, wild day. Auburn found another way to lose. Auburn and Florida State is weird. Obviously, they're garbage and they're terrible and they're not any good and they're not worth a shit. And just garbage teams and garbage programs. But it's weird that every week they find a different way to lose. And that's hard to do when you lose the number of games that Auburn and Florida State have lost. What do they have, like 13 losses between the two of them? Something like that. But every time it's like they find something different. Florida State blowed out by North Carolina. Auburn loses to Vandy by 10. It's been a wild day. A lot of weird things that have happened. But not everything that happened was weird. For example, Georgia beat Florida again. Was that third, fourth year in a row? Let me say, 21, 22, 23, 24? Yeah. Shout out to the seniors on Georgia's team who have never lost to Florida, ever. Unbelievable. 4 straight wins for the dogs over Florida. They absolutely cruised to just an easy, no sweat victory down there in Gainesville. Second half just underway. Texas A&M and South Carolina, 20 apiece. South Carolina jumped all over them early. Back to the Tennessee game, though, without trolling for a second. What's wrong with the Tennessee offense? And I'm not asking in a trolly way. I'm asking the Tennessee fans because you watch the first half. Nico's got pretty good numbers. He's around 150 yards passing, something like that. Pretty high completion percentage. Dylan Sampson's off to a good start. He's a great running back like he always is. And the Tennessee defense has played well. They gave up that one long, 50-yard run on Kentucky's first possession of the game that set up that first touchdown. But in other words, sometimes you watch, since we're not trolling, like Georgia, right? You watch Georgia on offense, and it's clear Carson Beck just can't. He keeps turning the ball over. Carson Beck's got something like 8 or 9 interceptions in the last 3 games, 11 interceptions in the last 5 games. Just ridiculous. It's like clockwork. 3 fucking interceptions. Boom, boom, boom. So you watch Georgia's offense, you see it struggle a little bit, but there's a pretty clear reason why. They don't run the ball great. Georgia. They're down to 3 of their top 4 running backs are hurt. ETN is out. Both the Robinsons are out. So Georgia today was left with a true freshman at running back, Nate Frazier, and RB2's a walk-on, literally, Cash Jones. So that, you look at Georgia and like, what, he can't run the ball. This guy's out, that guy's out, the other guy's out. Carson Beck turns the ball over like it's a hobby for him. So Georgia's offense is bad, but like the reasons are pretty obvious. I'm watching Tennessee and like, Nico looks okay. I mean, he's not great. He's not the 12-time Heisman winner that the Tards told us he would be. But, like, he looks okay when he plays. They can run the ball. Their defense is playing well. Whatever. But then, you look up and it's 10-7. They're freaking losing to Kentucky. And I mean, I guess you can troll me if you want about Georgia beating Kentucky by 1 earlier in the year. I'm assuming you're aware that teams get better or worse as the season goes along. And Kentucky is clearly an example of a team that's getting worse. I mean, they've got blown out in their last 2 games by Florida and didn't they lose to Auburn? I mean, the same Auburn team that just put up 7 against Vandy and lost by 10. So anyway, Kentucky's been circling the drain. They're just bad right now. And Tennessee's coming off of a bye week. And look, I bet on Tennessee today to cover the 17. I thought Tennessee was going to come out after a bye week against a bad Kentucky team that's clearly getting worse and circling the drain and kind of put on a show in front of the home crowd tonight. I mean, Tennessee's doing every possible gimmick imaginable. They've got a uniform gimmick, a dark mode gimmick, spooky Rocky Top gimmick, dress a certain way in the stands gimmick. The offense, of course, is always a gimmick. So they're doing like every gimmick known to man, coming off of a bye week against a bad team. I thought Tennessee was set up to roll offensively today. And again, I'm not even trolling. I watch them play, and I don't know what it is. There's been games where I thought Nico played bad. This isn't one of them. Like, he's playing halfway decent here. I don't know. You tell me, Tennessee, man. What do you think? But this is going to be great. This second, actually, all 3 of these games. Clemson's at home. They got a chance to come back in this one. Obviously, we're tied here, 20 apiece, and a 3-point game, Kentucky and Tennessee. So all 3 of these games are going to be great. Iowa and Wisconsin are on. Iowa's up in that one. You got the SMU Pitt game too, which SMU up pretty big over Pitt right now. But anyway, great day to be a dog. What are we, 7-1, 8-1? I can't keep track. We win so many games, it's hard to keep up with it. But it's like clockwork. Go down there and beat Florida like we normally do. Have a good morning.